All right. Deontay Wilder sends a nice little warning at Brandon Marshall, the former NFL player who said that he might want to get into boxing and fight the top guys, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz, and the such. My man is crazy. But let's talk about it because there's some interesting things that have happened like this in the past. Let's talk about what Deontay Wilder had to say and analyze it in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. Also, thank you to everybody that supports in the super chats and on the Patreon. Your support is essential. Thank you so much, and I hope you will attend the live streams Monday through Friday at 11:15, right around 11:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. And our weekending show, OG Boxing Talk, at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time with myself, Blood Boxing, KQKC Boxing, and Curtis Anderson. All right, so Brandon Marshall saying, and shout out to Blue Blood Sports TV who put up the video of it, and also Town Business. I was watching his video this morning that he did on it, a comment that he made on a really great video. And that's where I became aware of it. I came aware of it through Town Business, his channel, and then he was referring to an interview that Blue Blood did on Blue Blood Sports TV. So go check out both of those channels. Now, I find it funny because this really parallels one of my favorite stories in boxing. So Deontay Wilder is the heavyweight champion. Brandon Marshall is a very big, very strong, very athletic former football player. He used to play for the Chicago Bears. He played for I think he also played for the Jets. He might have played for the Eagles. But during the time that he was in Chicago, and he and Jay Cutler were there together, they were my favorite as a Bears fan. That was my favorite combination of a quarterback and a wide receiver, because they were really doing some things. And if you know anything about Bears football, we rarely have very good receivers, and even more rarely have halfway decent quarterbacks. So, you know, I have fond memories of Brandon Marshall. Deontay Wilder is the WBC heavyweight champion. Guy's got 40 knockouts. It's just an absolute killer in the ring, and we know that he is, so no need to go into too great a depth on who he is. Now, so the idea, what Deontay Wilder said was, look, man, if you were going to get into the boxing ring, his advice to Marshall was, don't do it. Okay, if you were going to get into the boxing ring, you would have already done it. And so basically saying, like, look, man, don't get up in this ring and get yourself hurt. Okay, people that think that they're athletes, that they're big, they're fast, they're strong, that they can run fast, think that for some reason that other sports look real easy to them. It's similar to when, what's his name? Max Kellerman made a comment about track and field not too long ago, saying it really wasn't a sport. It's just a sport that, you know, it's not really a sport. It's just a bunch of athletes that couldn't make the basketball team, couldn't make the football team. The guy sounds absolutely clueless as to the level of skill and the level of talent and hard work and athletic ability it takes to be a track runner, to be a track athlete, and definitely a world-class track athlete. Those things are like, man, that is not easy to do. Same thing for boxing. For somebody to be a high-level boxer, a world champion boxer, somebody to defend his title 10 times, or guy to make a professional living fighting, man, that is a specific skill set that just because you can jump high enough to touch the top of a backboard, or you can run a 4.240, or you know how to, or that doesn't necessarily translate into the boxing ring. So, I mean, for him to say that, because how do you know if you can take a punch? You know what I mean? How do you know if you're going to have the discipline and be able to grit down when you have to fight for 36 minutes? And it's just you. It's not, hey, coach, timeout. And they're not calling plays for you, you know, and you slip up, you're gone, right? If you're a football player and you miss a pass, that's a wrap. I mean, you know, it's not a wrap. You missed a pass, okay, run it back. You get 2, you get 3 out of 4 chances to get to the first down and move on. That's how football works. That's not how boxing works. So, but the funny story, the thing that this reminds me of is, you know, my favorite fighter of all time is Muhammad Ali. People who are familiar with the channel know that. But not a lot of people know that there was a great football player that wanted to box Muhammad Ali. And his name was Jim Brown. Jim Brown, up until I do believe Walter Payton broke his record, was all-time leading rusher in the NFL. He was, I think at Syracuse, he was a multi-sport star. This guy is one of the best athletes to ever play the game of football, right? Jim Brown. He does a lot of work now. He's famous for doing a lot of work with gangs in California. He also was, in several movies. Jim Brown used to play for the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns. So he wanted to fight Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, I think it was like in the late 1960s. It was after Jim Brown had retired early from the NBA. And he approached Bob Arum and said he wanted to fight Muhammad Ali. And Muhammad Ali was like, man, I ain't about to go beat up on Jim Brown. But Jim Brown he's presumably was stronger than Muhammad Ali. He's probably a faster runner than Muhammad Ali, right? He was the best. He is the best at that time, was the best football player that had ever played football. An extremely talented lacrosse athlete, world-class athlete to this day, Hall of Fame type of athlete. So what Ali did was like, look, man, I'll fight him if he meets me in Central Park in New York, and we talk about it in New York. So Jim Brown agreed to meet Muhammad Ali in Central Park. And then Muhammad Ali said, okay, I'll fight you, but we gotta do something first. I want you to ball your fist up, and I want you to hit me as hard as you can. Okay? So Jim Brown, according to Bob Arum, looked at Bob Arum, was like, okay. So Jim Brown pulled back, tried to hit, he took a swing at Muhammad Ali and he missed. And then Ali was like, okay, hit me again. And he kept swinging and swinging and swinging. Ali stood right in front of him and made Jim Brown miss every punch. Then he said, okay, now Ali said to Jim Brown, okay, now I want you to lift your hands up. And I want you to lift your hands up and I want you to keep me from hitting you. So Ali then admits to slapping the shit out of him for a couple seconds, like pop, 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 pop. And then after that, he said, okay, now, do you want to fight me? And Jim Brown said, no. That was the last conversation they had about Jim Brown getting into the boxing ring with Muhammad Ali, because that's what Muhammad Ali trained to do. And he's been training full time specifically on the task of slapping the shit out of people. So the idea that somebody, because you have success in catching a pigskin football, is leather now, cowskin now, but that you can catch a football or you can shoot a basketball or any of that nonsense, not nonsense, those skills don't necessarily translate into the sport of boxing. But the difference between boxing and football is if you aren't catching a football, say Deontay Wilder, who was a football player and was a basketball player, went out and tried out, said, I'm the world's best boxer. I want to play world best heavyweight, and best boxer, because nobody in boxing can beat him. So as far as I know, nobody in boxing can beat him. And that includes, how all the little weight classes work. But so I'm going to go out to football. I'm going to go out for football. Similar to like Master P scoring 8 points in a preseason basketball game. Master P didn't make that team. Deontay Wilder more than likely wouldn't make that team. They throw him a couple bombs or he gets stuck coming across the middle. They throw him a pass across the middle. Some 250 pound, 6'3", 250 pound dude who's trained to put his shoulder into your chest, flips him and lays him out. All that's going to happen to him is he gets to go set out for a play. Go sit down, and yeah, you're not in for the next play. If you get into a boxing match and you get hit by Deontay Wilder, your eyes may close and they may never open up. And the coach can't call time. There ain't no timeout. There ain't no injury timeouts. There's no, okay, well, what we'll do is we'll just have you block on this play. You don't play boxing. You get in there, and if you get them boys start to hitting on you, hey man, it could be a wrap. But I find that funny whenever somebody says that one sport, because they do something in one sport, that they want to go after the best in another sport. Certainly there are people who can play both basketball, both football, like Bo Jackson. And, like Bo Jackson can play football and baseball. Deion Sanders can play football and baseball. Those type of things. There are people that can become world class in two sports. But boxing, that's more than likely not going to be one of them. Because you slip up one, you have to be totally dedicated to the sport of boxing. And Brandon Marshall, at this late stage in your age, you might really, really, really want to stay away. So anyway, I thought that was funny and a great opportunity to share a really good story. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.